Hello there, guys. Got my headphones on because otherwise I probably have to put you on speakerphone. So I haven't got Amber here to do sound check and everything because Liam is with the boys upstairs, but he's sort of in and out of sleep. So Amber is also nanny camming in the boys' room online, so she can message me if they're stirring, just in case Liam. But I'm literally just out. In fact, I can actually hear at the window. As long as I peek my headphones out. My legs are absolutely dead, like seriously dead. Like they just feel like absolute lead. But I found two sort of favourite songs that I like to do, so I want a bit of a decent compilation, and then I've got a couple of friends that just want to mix it up a bit. And I'm thinking of sort of doing one of these roller boot disco things, seeing how it goes. But I've sort of separated my pelvis. My ankles don't sort of want to stay in once I take the roller boots off. My toes are cracking, my knees are not holding, my shoulders, in fact my left shoulder's now gone. Usually it's just my right, but now my left is sort of playing up. And I'm going to have to bring more fluid down with me as well, because my mouth feels like Gandhi's flip-flop, and my throat's playing up. So, but I'm going to persevere with it and see how it goes. And obviously Amber's not here sharing this live out as well, so unless you've sort of subscribed to the page, you won't really know that I'm currently live. So as I was just sort of saying, Amber is doubling up on the nanny cam upstairs. Liam is in the living room sort of watching DVDs, but he's sort of like up at work for work in the morning, so just in case he falls asleep, I've doubled Amber up on the nanny cam just to message me, just in case the boys wake up, and I'm literally just sat outside. So I thought I'd just come on live outside here actually, rather than sitting in the house, but I could really do with some fluid because I've been skating around. So I'm just waiting for the washing in the dryer, which is downstairs, so I've just brought it downstairs and I'm just waiting for that, and then I'll take that upstairs. If not, I tend to sort of end up going to sleep and then forgetting about it, and in the morning I'll find it all over the bloody place, so it drives me up the wall. So but anyway, what a week it's been. I really don't understand this sort of stuff that's going on Crackbook at the moment, and to be honest, I don't sort of tend to really read it. Amber tends to sort of screenshot it and send to me, because I only come on to Crackbook at certain points, which is around 10 o'clock in the morning. I tend to sort of come on, check everything. I might sort of post when, like, early morning sometimes, but I tend to come on about 10 o'clock, because as soon as we sort of wake up in the morning, I really love my time with the boys, and it's sort of like wriggles and giggles, and lots of cuddles and lots of kisses, and sort of getting up and having breakfast and stuff like that. So I don't tend to be the sort of person who gets up and checks her phone before the rest of the world, you know what I mean? So I tend to sort of come on at about 10 o'clock and check things. Sometimes if the boys are okay, then I'll come on live. If they're not, then I tend not to, unless I've got sort of like a club that we're at sort of 10 o'clock in the morning. So sometimes it's sort of every other day, and then 10 o'clock in the evening, and then I'm on the background taking messages, chatting to people on FaceTime, on the phone, Skyping people, things like that. Obviously, on the phone to people and things. But I sort of split my time between, obviously, because I'm a working mum, just because I'm not being paid to do certain things. Obviously, my book will be my payday, so it's all in there. It will all go in there. But literally, I'm planning to go off to Trinidad on the 28th. I've had to prolong the date. It was originally the 21st, but XR are holding down the airports on the 19th, I think it is. And I don't want my flight to get caught up in all of this, so I've sort of delayed my flight slightly. So XR can do what they've got to do, and I can get on my flight safely. And then back on the 10th of September rather than the 1st. And the reason I've got to go over there is because I'm struggling like fuck without childcare, and as you know, when Elijah was born, Amber came over, and it cost her like 800 quid to get over, and she doubled up works and saved and things like that. So, but I'm in a one bedroom, and it wasn't the right time. So Amber and her mum have kindly offered to put me and the boys up, so I can literally get all of the book finished, all of the paperwork finished, all the white papers finished, all of the green papers finished, blue papers, pink papers, and all of the things that need to be put in line, and court papers and things like that for everything that's going on. and basically mind map and get everything in order, date order, things that have gone on, things in the media, things that have gone on in Parliament, things that have gone on in courts, and basically bring everything together. But in order to do that, I need space, and in that 1-bedroom flat is driving me up the wall, and I still don't know whether to move with the council back into private. I'm not in a situation to go back under a mortgage or buy. So in order to get this done, and I just feel like I'm prolonging things and letting people down, but actually in the time that I'm bringing it together, lots of other people are doing lots of other things, and it will all come together. It's just that I need time to just literally defrag and sort of put it all together, from like when Aaron and Faith were taken, what went before me, what's gone after me, everything from TV, media, radio, different campaigners, different activists, different law changes, and literally just timeline absolutely everything and put it together. And then hopefully before October, when the final Brexit thing comes into place, I want to pretty much have a new family and something system. But in order to do that, I've got to sit down and really put this together. So Amber's going to be available pretty much 24/7 for the kids. Amber's mum is around as well if Amber needs to be giving me a hand with anything, and I'm going to literally be taking over. Amber's mum's already created an office space and everything in mine and the boys, sort of like annex thing. And then, so it's not a holiday as much as I'm going to enjoy seeing my Aaron and Faith's coconut tree and aloe vera plants and all of that have been growing the last 5 years, and obviously getting to know the culture. But also while I'm over there, there's been some challenges going on in their schooling over there, and recently there was an article in the paper about a 14 or 15-year-old girl who's got pregnant by a teacher. And Amber's been talking to people, and don't forget, for the last 5 years Trinidad's a very small place, and Amber has literally been like campaigning and doing things in her own community as well, like when the children's childcare, well, it's still sort of there, but while it was there, obviously the kids used to do things on awareness months and stuff like that. So there's quite a lot of people that understand and know what's going on, and they've got their own challenges as well over there. So it'd be interesting to go over, and then I'm hoping to then go across to see my friend in Miami, and get a load of stuff done and get a load of finances in and a lot of sponsorship behind this, because I don't need 5s, 10s and 15 pounds as much as they're really handy right now. I need like hundreds of thousands and millions of pounds to ultimately achieve the full capacity. I mean, even a Labour candidate, I'm not running as MP, but I probably will do at some point, but it won't be as MP, it will be as under the Assembly, so I'll probably go in somewhere there, she's pretty much asking her supporters to pay her rent while she gets out and talks to the public and stuff like that. So, you know, people need to understand that when people like me do stuff, you know, we're pretty much based on sponsorship, partnership programs, coaching programs that pay our books, speakers' fees, stuff like that. So, and that's how we pay our wage, really. And yes, we end up 6-figure people. Yes, we make a lot of money, but we help a lot of people too. It's just that we do things, we tithe 10% the way the Bible says, and we don't get caught up in the Babylon way, and we build strong networks. So that's sort of where I've got to go to from here. So July Awareness Month will still be continuing. David Jenkins has worked so hard behind the scenes, putting and paying for himself. I mean, the man hasn't been eating. He's literally been building and building. I mean, at last check it was nearly £500 and it was going up and up and up. And he's basically put the widgets into the website, which is called Faces of Forced Adoption. And that's also for long-term foster care, and basically we've sat down, we've talked about what needs to go in there in order to build a full-blown database for the class actions. So there's going to be a multitude of class actions because each has to take an individual facet. So people under domestic violence, people under disability, people under drugs, people under alcohol, people under false allegations. It has to do that to go in with their process, unfortunately. So literally within there will be your case number, your details, blah 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 blah, and we're going to be getting the right people in place in order to be able to get your threshold documents. But also in there is a widget for you to be able to write your chapter of the book for Face to Forced Adoption, with Forced Adoption Exposed and Stolen Children of the UK, and we're going to put all of your chapters together in that. And then also you'll have your own platform to write your own book, which through July I will be running programs with David to help you achieve that. But if you're miles ahead of us, carry on. The Clumnai family have already started, they're already on it, they're already getting their videos out, they're already writing their chapters. It's one of the daughters that's just ran with it and gone with it. You know, I'm not saying doing it in my times and frames, but on the 1st of July all the barristers are going to be protesting about not enough pay. So we need as many red X's out there on the front line to basically remind them that they have been paid enough to kidnap our kids and not been paid enough to represent the families, and we need people down there to do that. As you know, it's really difficult with Elijah. If by July I've got things in place where I have somebody with me who's constantly an extra pair of eyes that I know, you know, are going to be responsible enough, and I know that I can take my eyes off my children for 3 minutes in order to do something, knowing that they're not going to run in the road, not going to get bloody hurt, and I'm going to have to kill somebody who's looking after my kids who's ended up letting them get injured or, you know, lost or something. So, you know, I really do need people around my kids that I can seriously depend on. You know, even somebody helped me and they ended up swearing at my kids, and I ended up sort of saying, look, we don't want to be in this situation really, because, you know, I'm quite strict. In fact, I'm very strict about what goes on around my boys, to be honest. And obviously branding, all of that stuff. Now, adoption agencies pretty much have adopters out doing parachute jumps, all the fundraising, things like that. And we don't have that, so I've got to go to the people who do have the money, and in order to do that I have to put documents together, manuscripts together, mission statements together, business plans together, charity subscriptions together, and all those documents, financial planning, put together all the blueprints, the models and all of that stuff, in order for people to then go, yes, I will be willing to put this amount in and sponsor this amount of families. They tend to measure it sometimes between, it can be different. Sometimes they measure it up to sort of £4,000, £5,000 to £6,000 per person, depending how long you're running an individual program. And it is programming, it's reprogramming. You're being programmed. You have been programmed, and we're here to unprogram you. Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm going to be doing. So I'm probably going to take some cleaning jobs. I've got about just over £1,500 to pay for my ticket. My ticket from me and my boys' ticket from Tobago to Trinidad on the boat has already been covered. That's all sorted and in place. And then I've got to sort this side. So, but I think it's about time to send Richard Branson. Oh shit! I nearly tripped over. There we go. Oh, Richard, don't trip. It's about time to send Richard Branson the clipping from my psychological report that said that I'm so grandeur that I think that I can't think what it was, but basically it was to do with all the stuff to do with Success Resources, because 2012 was Donald Trump, Sir Lord Sebastian Cole, Anthony Robbins, and then obviously the 12 delegates. And then 2011 was Richard Branson, Alan Sugar, Tony Robbins, and then the 12 delegates again. So they were the meetings at the National Achievers Congress. So National Achievers Congress was basically the platform of speakers that were the top of the chain, and then they would always have three main entrepreneur speakers, and then so basically it's about time that I sort of put all this together, especially within the books. I've got the book Gagged, so the Forced Adoption Exposed book, and the Step Up Britain book, and then also there's lots of individual books on how to overcome sexual abuse. They're all different traumas, but the different labels that they give you. So as you'll know, I always say if you've been diagnosed with borderline personality, it basically means that you don't have enough hobbies. So go for ultimately 5 hobbies, but start with 2, pick up 2 hobbies, then get a third, and ultimately try to have 5 interesting hobbies that you do that you love. And then ultimately one of those will be something that you invest your time in, the other one will be something that invests in you, so it becomes your cash machine. But basically 5, then you've got your personality, therefore you're not borderline personality, you have a personality, which they have now transferred to emotional something. So when you don't know yourself and you get picked on or bullied, it can upset you basically. But when you have total certainty in who you are, what you love and what you do, so like when someone like Lisa says, oh, Kelly can't have EDS because she roller skates, well, my 3 consultants can tell her different, and my skates on my feet will tell you very different. So I'm solid in myself, so people like that just don't rock me. When you're not solid in yourself, they do. I'm not sure if I can see Amber messaging me, so I just want to take my headphones off and just check at the window because I can hear. I'm sure it comes up if she messages me anyway. Yeah. So like being in the garden when you have a house, really. But it's flat, unfortunately. But Liam is in the flat as well, so, and Amber's on nanny cam overseeing the boys just in case Liam falls asleep while I'm down here. So if you have been diagnosed with bipolar, then you tend to be creatives, artistic, dancers, music, all those sort of unleashed. So they're creative sides of you that you haven't yet had the confidence to unleash. So it's like a bit of a volcano, really. So you sort of start to progress, and then the confidence goes and you go back down to this deep dark depression, and then the fog and the depression overtakes you, and then you get really pissed off with it, and then you start coming back up again. So your serotonin, your dopamine levels are playing up. So obviously first thing first is to get your health in order. Body, it doesn't matter what diagnosis they've given you, to get your health in order is the prime thing of anything. What you put in your body is what you become. So if you're eating shit, you'll feel like shit. If you eat goodness, then you'll feel good. Simple as that. And also the energy that it comes from. If somebody with bad hands and bad energy makes you a really lovely meal, or what should be a lovely meal, but their energy is bad, then it's going to poison you. Someone can put together beans on toast with the most purest hands and nurture your body in ways that you would have never have known. So energy is energy, and that's once you've got to get your head around, really. And that's pretty much what they don't want you to know. And what I always say is the 1% controlling the 99%. The 99% of 100% is bigger and outweighs the 1%. So we are bigger than them. So you are being mass mind controlled by the 1% in order to keep their cattle sheep in place, keeping you all in order, doing as you're told, getting up. Don't ever ask yourself, like, why do your children go to bed? Oh, Shira, they really don't like this shit. Keep tripping me up, bastards. Why do your children get up at 7:30 in the morning, and why do they go to bed at 7:30 at night? That is in order, so they can be up and in school in time for you to be up and in work. School was created by the Industrial Revolution in order for parents to have childcare, to go to school, and then the 5 national curriculums were introduced: basic fundamentals of maths, English, science, RE, and can't think what the other one is, it's just gone blank out of my head. Usually a physical education. And then obviously the more elite schools had more hobbies, so we come back to your own personal self. And obviously the majority of people who become solicitors, barristers is a bit of a working class thing, but barristers, so obviously there was the Lords. So don't forget, you're all shouting at the Houses of Commons, and you're forgetting that the Houses of Commons are actually told what to do by the Houses of Lords, and nobody seems to be realising that the common people are standing up against the common power, and the common people need to let the Houses of Lords know that actually, you know, we are all equal, mate. So you're la-di-da-di-da-di lord because you've either paid £1 million in order to be called a lord, or you come from some form of king who cut people's heads off and killed lots of people in order to take over land, and given these bullshit statuses when there is only one king, and that is Jesus himself. And I don't sit under any other king or queen, and we are all sovereign beings, and it's about time that we took our sovereignty back. There is a lot of people at the moment who are being led, calling themselves Christians, by wolves in sheep's clothing, who are being led by what Jesus came to turn the table temples over. So basically Jesus's role wasn't what people actually talk about, because obviously he was nailed to a cross, but his actual role was to turn over the tax collectors and all of the people that were basically going into churches, running churches with their hands out in their pockets, taking money to build not a church but to build an organisation such as the Catholic Church, the Roman Church, Catholicism. And then obviously Henry VIII created the C of E Church that our country here in the UK currently sits under, which is a man-made religion. So Henry VIII, who had very many wives, could get divorced. So there, here in England, we don't actually aptitude towards marriage. We actually quite like the broken home here, because that's the so-called God that we sit under, which is actually a devil. And the Catholic Church itself sits under the very Satan itself. And then you've got all of these subsidiary churches, Mormons, which was a polymonic church that agreed with sex underage. In fact, a lot of the churches do. Don't hate the God, hate the church. And then obviously, I shouldn't hate anybody really, but you know, it is a revolution. There is a revolution, but it is a revolution with yourself. It is take back your heart, minds and souls, and to protect the innocence of those that need to protect their heart, minds and souls. So so it's Saturday morning. The Yellow Jackets, I'm not sure, Yellow Vests, there's two subsidiaries, they all stem off of Black Bloc anyway, are all coming together. I think it's on, don't double quote me, I think it's 21st of June or something, 21st or 23rd. So they're all coming together internationally, so that's pretty much International Yellow Jackets. What you've got to remember is everybody is an individual. Everybody stands for their own reasons. Everybody's come together for their own reasons. Everybody is willing to travel, invest and put their money in their pockets to stand for their own reasons. Some is infiltrated, they always are. Some of it, different people stand for different things. It's about everybody coming together, really. Well, anyway, wolves in sheep's clothing and all of that. Like I said, I was a Trojan horse. So, and then XR again. I'm still waiting to see what XR is doing with the money. I haven't checked their final balance yet, but the last time I checked it was 550,000. And nobody came together for the event that they wanted. So, anyway, I need to just go and put an ear on. I'm not sure, because Amber's not sitting there. If she was on the laptop, it would be a bit different, because she keeps the laptop open on kids, and it's only because Liam's not too well. Only because he went out for the first time since living here last night. Bless his cotton socks. Oh shit! Let me just listen. I've got the window open. It's just there, look. So, but I can hear you through here. So anyway, Saturday tomorrow. I always take Saturday mornings off. Saturday mornings is always time with my boys. We never know whether Dean is back for the weekend or not until sort of like 10 o'clock. And then house is actually straight for the weekend, fucking once. It's taken me all day, it's driving me up the wall. So we should be able to get up and out tomorrow. and I've got a couple of things on this weekend, meeting up with a couple of the local people here to do with the Portsmouth division and XR division, and a few people who work for the system, and a few people that want to know a little bit more about what's going on. So I've got a few things on tomorrow, and I'll be around, but I try to keep my Saturdays about families, so I might have to move all my family photographs back into another group, but obviously it's mine and Dean's joint group, and I'm a bit like that on whether I should be using it at the moment. So and it looks like he's going through a bit of a tough thing, because he's taken down his Twitter and he's taken down his YouTube, so he's got into his cave for a bit, but he's online to me, so just not to the rest of the world at the moment. So we shall see. But I wish he would just go and sit in a fucking studio and get this album done. He's driving me nuts. God, I thought somebody was stood at my bloody window again then. That's pretty freaky. So yeah, new week ahead. I'm not even sure what the date is, to be honest, but preparing for July, setting out a couple of dates with some things that are going on. Also, just to remember, to all of the people who come under parent alienation, who have been alienated by the other parent, I would also say that being alienated by social services is part of this, so maybe go and watch, but this is predominantly the guys that have worked really, really hard. So they're sitting in Parliament on the 21st, I think it is. I can't, it'd work out, it'd be all right if it's on the same day as International. That would be cool, wouldn't it? And there's a few other things coming on. A lot of the stuff about gagging is coming out at the moment. There's a lot of adoption cases coming out now. There's a lot of people taking individual suing cases now that are setting precedences. And literally we'll be putting out on the Faces of Forced Adoption all of those different models, so you can all see how you can do that yourself. And also there was a massive, massive big precedent case, just to say before I go, that meant that if you were neglected as a child in foster care, or not even taken, that you can actually bring your cases forward. So if your own foster care file has been used to take your children, then that is significant enough to bring a case forward. So all these precedences are opening doors now. There's a lot of people, you know, getting on with it and dealing with their own cases and opening doors for bigger cases. So it is all coming together just because you can't see it. There's a lot of people working hard. The other thing is Monique Blakemore went to United Nations meeting in Australia the other day and played the video again on when she filmed me getting my orders for the care and placement order for Aaron and Faith, and I wasn't sure what everything meant, what it was, and I was asking questions. So that got shown again, but has gone a little bit further this time as well. So she's going to send me the links, because it's actually, the video is actually going up on the United Nations website now. So that will be up on the website very soon. So yeah, see where all this is going. I believe my head is going way above the parapet again, but so be it. So yeah, apparently people like my lives. They like sitting there taking the piss, apparently, Lisa and her friends, and they got bets on me and all sorts. What a sad fucking existence. So anyway, I'm going to go in because I'm a bit nervous about the boys waking up in a bit. It's just because they're in the same bed. And Liam's got work tomorrow, so I don't want him to have to wake up and deal with them. So, and bless Amber, she's sitting online while she's got other work to do, just literally just watching, so she can message my phone if they do actually wake up, so I can go in. But my legs are really, really heavy. I don't actually know if I'm going to be able to pull this off, but it won't be until the winter anyway, I don't think. So I want to move as well before going, hopefully, or even on the way back, over towards the skateboard park, because I want to be able to get up in the mornings and go straight across to the skateboard park with the boys. So, and we've got a pretty cool one here. In fact, we've got quite a lot of pro BMXers here, and a lot of the pro skateboarders started here as well. So, oh my goodness, what was that? God, it scares the living daylights out of me when people come past. I think that's all I've sort of got to say for this week, really. Join me on Monday for Monday morning motivation, and Sunday I think my I did used to have a radio blog on a Sunday, and I haven't picked up on it, but I'm going to again soon. Yeah, it's getting noisy out here now, guys, so I'm going to go in and make sure that I can hear the kids, because once it starts getting noisy out here, they wake up so easy. I didn't have my headphones on, so I don't know if you heard me then, so I was just saying it's going to start getting noisy out here in a minute, so I just want to get out underneath the window so I can hear the kids. So I just wish you all a really, really, really great Saturday, whatever you're doing tomorrow. Yeah, they're awake. Right, anyway guys, I shall catch up with you later and speak to you soon.